I don't know how to start this video. Hi friends, what is going on? Welcome back to my channel. I am in my corner in the living room where I've spent many of days. I've hinted about some stuff going on in my life in my last video. The Real Housewives of Orange County, the season 17 trailer, we reacted to it. I needed to do something fun for me. And I've hinted about some things going on in my life. And I was debating, like, do I make a video about this? Do I not make a video about this? I don't know. But ultimately, I've decided we're going to talk about it. For those of you that are used to silly videos, Housewives, Bravo, today is not that video. I'm hoping that what we talk about here, someone else is watching this and getting educated or seeing like, okay, it's not as bad as it seems. Yeah. So let's talk about it. At the beginning of April, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, MS, which was a complete shock. And I think still is a complete shock. Like, I don't really think I've 100% come to terms with, like, okay, I have a chronic illness. I'm just sick with a cold and I'm gonna be better. Yes, I might be better, but the fact of the matter is some things, this is just gonna be my new normal. And I guess first we need to start at the beginning. How I even found out I had MS, what my symptoms were, my story, how I've come to this, because it's all just so crazy. And if you can't laugh about it, I'll cry about it. And so here it is. We're talking about MS. We're talking about multiple sclerosis. Like, this video is like the real. Like, the real of, like, my life. Raw, unedited. And if someone out there is watching this and like, wow, okay, it's not the end of the road. Because it's not the end of the road. When I got diagnosed with MS, and actually not even got diagnosed, it was, we may think you have this. I was in the ER, and the ER doctor told me about the possible diagnosis, which at the time, it wasn't official yet. It was like, we think this is what it is, but we don't know yet. He said, and I'll remember this forever. He said, if this is the biggest speed bump you have in life, you're gonna be just fine. Okay. So here we are, my life with MS, and we're talking about it. So if you are like, what is MS? You know, recently Selma Blair has come out and was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. Christina Applegate has MS. There are so many people coming out and speaking about, okay, I have MS, and this is what I'm feeling, and it's, here we are. So I'm gonna educate the masses. Multiple sclerosis, I'm gonna talk about it in two different ways, all right? This is like the Oxford Dictionary of multiple sclerosis. A chronic, typically progressive disease involving damage to the sheaths of nerve cells in the brain and spinal cord, whose symptoms may include numbness, impairment of speech and of muscular coordination, blurred vision, and severe fatigue. That is the Oxford Dictionary. According to the Mayo Clinic, they define MS as a potentially disabling disease of the brain and spinal cord central nervous system. In MS, the immune system attacks the protective sheath myelin that covers nerve fibers and causes communication problems between your brain and the rest of your body. Eventually, the disease can cause permanent damage or deterioration of the fibers. So that is the official definition of like what MS is. So how did we get here? Let's talk about my journey and how we came to the diagnosis of you have MS. Let's talk about it. Ooh, I don't even know where to begin. Grab a coffee. Let's get comfortable. We're going to talk about my journey to MS. Back in the beginning of April, that first weekend in April, I woke up one morning getting ready for work, and my whole right side was numb. Hands up my arm, feet up my leg, side of my face, completely numb. We have a friend that would like to join us today. Gracie's gonna hang out while we share this story. Whole right side of my body really like numb, tingly. Think like you slept on your hand or your foot wrong and it's like asleep. That feeling in the whole right side of my body, but it just would not go away. And I'm the type of person that I'm like, it's fine. Like, you figure it out and you're gonna be fine. I literally have a complete zoo over here. I have a cat. Okay, bye Gracie. I can't make a video in peace. Where were we? Whole right side of my body completely numb. Didn't really think anything of it because I've had carpal tunnel. All right, well, I thought I had carpal tunnel. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. And I'm like, okay, is it normal for carpal tunnel to like be on the entire right side of your body? I don't know. Didn't think anything of it. Went to work like normal. Was doing work and realizing like I really can't concentrate. And like I'm typing and misspelling words, not being able to focus. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, something really is off. Something doesn't feel normal. Like, this is not normal. So I told a colleague, and they're like, you need to go to the ER, urgent care, and get it checked out. I'm like, no, like, I'm really fine. I'm gonna be fine. Like, no, you have got to go and get this checked out. I'm like, okay, all right, you're right. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna listen to my body. My body's clearly telling me something. Go to urgent care, which I don't really know why I went to urgent care, but that's really beside the point. I guess because I'm like, I'm fine. Like, I'm gonna be okay. I go to urgent care. The doctor, and I don't know if I'm even gonna like call this person a doctor. When I share the rest of this story, you'll be like, ooh, God, okay. He is checking me out. I'm telling the symptoms, like numbness, weakness. He's like, oh, you had a TIA, which is like a pre-stroke. I'm like, oh my God. I am gonna have a full-on stroke. Now, real smoker. I've been smoking since I was 21. I know, bad. Haven't had a cigarette in a month, so whoop whoop. We're celebrating the little wins over here, y'all. The little wins. All right, TIA, stroke. I'm like, oh my God. He's like, you need to go see a neurologist, get an MRI, and take baby aspirin, and sent me on my way. Now, for someone who's gonna like have a stroke, don't you think, okay, we should call like an ambulance, like this is real serious? Just so nonchalantly was like, you had a TIA and you need to get an MRI to make sure there's no permanent damage in your brain. For someone that has had pretty decent health, having someone tell you you're having a stroke is really scary and eye-opening. So my aunt works in neurology, has worked in neurology, has studied neurology, has her own practice. Told her what was going on, went to go see her, prescribed me some like migraine medicine, told me to keep an eye on it. And I'm like, okay, obviously taking some time off of work. Next day, not really getting any better. And this was a Tuesday. Wednesday, not getting any better. Maybe getting a little bit worse. Lot of numbness, lot of like weakness in my hand. Just something didn't feel right. Walking very slower, like a lot slower than what I'm used to. Like I am move. Thursday comes around, Thursday morning. I'm like, this still doesn't feel right. Took myself to the emergency room. Okay, this was a Thursday. Hooked me up to a bunch of monitors, the whole nine. Okay, got an MRI. Okay, never had an MRI before, which, crazy, but also very relaxing, not gonna lie, very relaxing. You literally get to listen to music, and they pull a little blanket on you, and you're in a tube. Like, I guess if you're claustrophobic and, like, being caged in, it can be terrifying. When you work with the general public, being closed off in a tube away from everybody with some music playing, kind of soothing. Beside the point. Got an MRI. Went back to my little room in the ER, and they found some things on the MRI that were concerning. So there are lesions, probably the size of like 2 fists in like my frontal lobe, lesions in my brain, and lesions on my thoracic spine, which that is causing all of the numbness. And they're like, we believe it could possibly be multiple sclerosis. Now let that sink in when you are alone in the ER and they tell you we're gonna have to admit you to the hospital. You're gonna be admitted and we need to do a lot more tests. Just let that kind of sink in. So here I am, admitted to the hospital. This was on Easter weekend. So at least I got a nice little room, private room. It's the freaking hospital though. Like, countless MRIs later, the lesions in my brain are not active, which leads me to believe that I've had MS for quite some time. And that's like a completely different video for the sake of like, let's not have this video be an hour long. I've probably had it since like mid-20s. And when I really reflect on like, okay, what could have like possibly, could I have known back then? Looking back on it now, I'm like, yeah, that all kind of tracks. We'll save that for like a different video. Countless MRIs later, I had a spinal tap. They tested my spinal fluids. They did a ultrasound on my neck, both sides, to make sure that blood flow and oxygen was reaching my brain. Countless neurology tests, blood work, medications, like the whole works. And the neurologist in the hospital came to see me. They're like, yep, we've done all your tests and you are diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. We believe that this is what this is. Every test we have done points to that direction. So the lesions in my thoracic spine right now are active, and I have several large lesions in that area. like I said, that is what is causing all of the numbness in my right side. So, someone that is so used to just like moving quickly, like I work in retail, I move quickly, just to have all of that taken away like that. And it quite literally happened overnight. Like it happened like that. One day I was completely fine. The next day, boom. And from all the research that I've been doing and reading and the articles, like that's how it works. It just kind of like happens very, very quickly. So here I am. I have a chronic illness and there is no cure for MS. I am on a brand new anxiety medication that also ties into your neurons, and it's supposed to help rebuild your nerve endings. And that medication is called Cymbalta. So I'm on Cymbalta now, and according to the National Multiple Sclerosis Society, it is used to treat MS, depression, and neuropathic pain. So it's supposed to help with not only depression and anxiety, but also it's used to treat MS. So I'm taking that. I'm also taking now Provigil. I'm also taking Provigil because one of the biggest symptoms in MS is extreme fatigue. So the symptoms that I've been having is not only numbness, I've had mobility problems, I've had stiffness in my bottom, like below the knee to my feet, stiffness and weakness in my hands all the way up here, and it really slowed me down. Like, I've never moved so slow. And I have done a lot of taking it day by day, because normal activities that normal, well-abled people can do, like doing laundry, washing dishes, like little things like that, wipe me all energy. Like, I cannot do anything else. I have slept just a completely different way of living. So I've taken Provigil to really help with my fatigue. I've taken countless vitamins like vitamin D, B12, B3, a multivitamin. I take 8 total. I take a lot of vitamins. And then I'm also taking Tysabri, which is a monthly infusion that is supposed to help with the progression of MS. It does not cure MS. So I just want to get that misconception out of the way. My DMD, disease-modifying drug that I'm taking, is not curing me of MS. It is also not taking away the lesions that are already there. What this does, it acts as like a wet blanket on a fire. So right now, my immune system is attacking my central nervous system. What this DMD, disease-modifying drug, is doing is taking a blanket, a wet blanket, and throwing it on the fire to put it out and keep it from spreading further. Now, there could come a time where it doesn't work anymore and the disease continues to spread. I don't know. I could go years, maybe forever, without having a relapse. The type of MS that I have is called relapse remission. So there are several different forms of MS, which again sake of time. Not gonna cover that in this video. Lots of different types. So the type of MS that I have is called relapsing remitting. So it's a type of MS where you have relapses, symptoms getting worse, followed by recovery. That's when it's remitting. So I go where it's back and it's gone, and it's back and it's gone. And I could go forever without having a relapse, or I could go a month or a year where it's back and then it's gone, and it's back and it's gone. So that's the type of MS that I have. So here I am with MS, and you know, I'm gonna be making more videos about my journey through living with a chronic illness, what it looks like, what my symptoms were, how I'm coping with it, because I'm making a lot of lifestyle changes to really combat this, because you can't just like eat healthy and it's gone. Like, this is something that I'm gonna live with for the rest of my life. So what can I do to make my life easier, healthier, so I can live comfortably and have a good quality of life with MS? So that's where I'm at. I have a new Instagram channel. Follow me there, Kyle's MS Journey, and follow along for the ride. Like, this is the little corner of life where I've been. On the couch, I keep moving, but I'm learning how to relive. That's where I'm at right now. So maybe we call this little series the Chronic Corner. Kyle's Chronic Corner, where we talk about MS. We remove the stereotypes of MS, because I'm not in a wheelchair, and there are so many people that are out there living with MS, and they're running marathons, they're running businesses, they're living a healthy, good quality of life with this disease. And I want to be that person that's showing you like the success or not success. I don't know. I think I'm getting ahead of myself and now I'm rambling. So I have MS. Here I am. We're talking about it. And, you know, more videos to come about MS and really breaking it down in digestible bites. So maybe we're talking about symptoms. We're talking about disease-modifying drugs that you can take. Ways to cope with MS. This is a journey and an onion with so many layers. But here we are, and this is the story. This is my journey. And I hope you follow along. And I hope this rambling video was helpful for you, was inspiring. Feel free to get subscribed. Like this video, comment below. Let's have an honest conversation about living with a chronic illness, living with multiple sclerosis. And yeah, that's all I've got today. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging out. And get subscribed. Bye, y'all.